Okay, so I'm going to be running through how to normalize and etch a tube, um, as well as trimming it. So we can see right here I've already done some of them. Um, really a major important part is knowing the order in which these are going to be essentially welded together. So this one, it's a little difficult to see, but you can see it copes around this tube and this tube. And so it's important to know beforehand how you're going to want to weld this. So we're going to start with the next one that I am currently working on, which is going to be this upper battery box cross brace. And so we're going to go over to the weldment tabs and make sure you have that enabled by going to tabs by right clicking and selecting weldments. And you're going to need surfaces as well, so you might as well do that there. Okay, so you click trim and extend. You're going to click the body you want to be trimmed, and make sure your allow extension is off on both of those. And then you're going to select what you want it to be trimmed by. So we're going to select this long tube. We're going to select the other side as well. And it looks a little janky right now, but that's okay. And yeah, so this tube is going to cope along with it, so it doesn't need to be trimmed. And I believe that is it for now. So I'm just going to click accept. It's going to do its thing. And now we have a tube that is properly trimmed. So you can see that this tube will cope around this one. Okay, and then with this, we're going to be doing this all in one file. So we're going to right click on the tube. We're going to go to isolate. That way it's the only thing in view. And now we're going to work on normalizing it. So we're going to click, we essentially just want to get rid of these surfaces out here. Same on the other side. And a quick way to do that for non-complex tubes, or I guess just single long tubes, is to click the outside and the inner side of the tube. Then we're going to right click, selection tools, invert selection. Then we're going to go to surfaces. Yeah, as you can see, it essentially just highlights all the surface at the outside. We're going to go to delete face. Make sure it is selected to be delete. Accept that. Okay. And now what you're left with is essentially two hollow tubes. It's a little difficult to see. There you go. And we're going to go to ruled surfaces, normal or surface, make sure that's selected. There's going to be any value you want as long as it's greater than the outer diameter of the tube. We're going to select all the edges of the edges of the inner diameter on both sides. Okay, and then we're going to want it facing outward and accept. Make sure, real quick, before I forget, make sure trim and knit and connecting surface are off. So, okay, and with that we're going to go to the next tool, trim surface, and we're going to select mutual, as it avoids a lot of the, I guess, complexities that come with standard and it being kind of a pain in the butt to use. So, what mutual does is essentially just find the intersection between the selected surfaces, and you get to choose whether you want to delete or keep one side of the intersection. Okay, so you choose all your surfaces that are intersecting with each other. So you choose your trimming surface, which are the ruled surfaces, and then you're going to select your inner tube. And then we're going to go here, and this is what we're going to want to keep. I like to use this one, which show excluded surfaces. And so then you're going to collect the inner tube. What that's going to do is essentially delete everything that's being shown. Then you click accept. Now you can see it cut off any of the sharp edges that were there. So, okay, with that we're going to scroll up in our tree. We're going to delete all the top ones except for the last one in the surface bodies folder. And it should automatically generate, so you shouldn't worry about that too much. Okay, and now the last step in normalizing is to click the thicken option under the surfaces ribbon, and then just accept it. And actually, I didn't specify what that was. So this is your wall thickness, which in our case is 0.095 inches, which equates to that in millimeters. And make sure that it does it towards the enter. Okay, there you go. Now you have a normalized tube. And the next step would be to etch a part number into it. So let's go over that quickly. This one should be easier, simply because it is a flat tube. So we're going to go for the front plane in our case. And then we're going to create a square, or rather a rectangle. We're going to define it to be 30 millimeters by 0.5. Okay, and with that, we're just going to drag it. This doesn't really need to be defined properly. Just enough to essentially create an edge. And we're going to select offset, and we are going to want to have that float some arbitrary distance. We're going to select this, make sure it's offset from surface, and then we're going to reverse offset, and that is actually the wrong way, so I'm going to, okay, it's weird. Okay, there we go. And so what reverse offset does essentially is just it's going to cut into the surface, and we're going to accept. You can see there's a little etch in there, which I made to 0.01 inches. And we're going to do the actual part number now, which you can do by selecting your plane first. Just going to be the front plane. Okay, and now we are going to, well, my frames are dropping, but that's okay. We're going to select the backside of the edge you just made to be the edge where the letters will essentially be typed onto. And we're going to name this R206. Again, this is just arbitrary. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, with that, do the same thing, same process. Offset, random distance. As long as it's enough. Select that, reverse offset, 0.01 inches. And that actually typed on the wrong side. I do not want it to type on that side. Give me a second. So yeah, you're just gonna have to play around with this. There we go, I just want it on the right hand side. Now it should be good to rebuild, and yeah, there you go. Now you can exit isolate, and there you go. Now you have a normalized, coped, and etched tube. And that is the end of it. And you can also just put this into a folder. I've been calling it norm. This would be upper battery box cross brace. There you go. And you can just toss these into a folder that covers the rear assembly. That will conclude it. Although there's one last thing I should show you. So for this one, for the letterings, or the typing, sometimes it's a little bit janky because it won't be exactly on plane. And so what you can do, something that I did, I figured out not too long ago, is you can go to Sketch and then convert entities, and then you're going to convert the back line again, just as before, and then that will project a line out here. You can just make a construction, and then just select your letter and link it to this line, and then just do the same process as before with extrusion, cut extrusion, and you're all good to go. So, thanks for watching. Take care.